Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this third episode in the renovation of the Cavalier CS-96a Coca-Cola machine. In the first two episodes we introduced the project. The second episode we addressed phase one, which was fixing and preparing the coin mechanism to test the operation of the vending machine. In this episode we're going to shift on to phase two. Phase two is going to address the renovation of the front doors of the Coca-Cola machine itself. Principally, this is the coin mechanism door here and the front main door to the vending machine itself, as well as the door or the bottle stack access door here. So in this episode we will address the removal of these items and disassembly of the other components as part of that form each of these items. There are two ways to go about disassembling the door. You can either remove the door intact and then disassemble it once you've removed it from the machine, or you can remove all of the components while the door is still attached. Either way, to remove the door, you basically need to lift up the door off of these hinges here, off of these pins. However, before you can do that, you need to remove the wiring harness from the junction box down the bottom here by pulling out the wires gently. These are spade type connectors, so by pulling them out, this will separate the wiring harness from the door itself. Personally, I feel like it's going to be easier if I leave the door on the vending machine and remove each of the components first. So start by obviously removing the coin mechanism, disconnecting the bulb and the bulb holders here, removing the wiring harness from the door. I can remove the bottle cap box and the coin box. I can also remove the coin reject lever here. And then I can start by moving over here to the bottle access door as well. You'll notice normally there's a metal plate that's on the back side here. This is the metal plate here. I've actually already removed that, and there was insulation that's inside here. I've already removed and disposed of the insulation as well. Obviously, as part of the renovation, I will be replacing that. Alright, as always, before doing anything with the wiring harness on the vending machine, ensure it is unplugged. So I'm safely unplugged here so I can make sure I'm not going to electrocute myself. That's those 5 wires disconnected. Now in principle the door is now isolated from the rest of the vending machine. Now what we need to do is to remove the wiring harness by passing the wires back up through the door into the coin mechanism cabinet here. So let's start down here and see where they go. Okay, it's held in by like a putty plug that obviously seals the hole up. So obviously we want to try and not damage the wires. I don't intend to replace the wiring harness because it's actually in really good condition. So here you can see the putty. I just cut it a little bit with some wire cutters or pliers. That's now freed up the plastic wire grip that's there. You can now use a pair of pliers to grab that. As you can see here, I managed to get the wire grip back through the hole and then remove the plastic part, and then was able to remove it from the wire harness. Now what I can do is pull the wires up through the hole. Now where the wires penetrate through the main door into the coin mechanism area, there's the same thing. There's a putty plug covering over the plastic wire clamp that goes around the whole harness. So again, remove the putty plug, and this will push through the other side of the door. So by using a pair of pliers, we're able to squeeze it together and push it through to the other side of the door. Now this is where the wire harness comes through the other side of the door. Probably a good time now to remove the coin mechanism. So just like we saw before, pull out the plug. Oh, I want a quarter. And we will lift and remove the coin mechanism. So what we can do now is pull the wiring harness through. Okay, so now we have the wiring harness through. One thing obviously I'll make a note of here is that I'm going to need 2 new wire clamps when I come to put the wiring harness back in. So I'll make a mental note of that I need 2 of those. One thing I like to do as I'm going through the disassembly is to store all of the parts that are from a similar or same component in one of these kind of small Ziploc bags, and then write the contents on it. So that way, if I need to replace any screws, I still put the screws in the bag that I need to replace. So then as I go through and check the parts afterwards, I can then replace the screws, but put them back in the bag. So I then know I have the right number of parts and the right number of size screws, etc., for when I come to reassemble that particular part of the machine. Now we're going to take out the bulbs. Now I've already replaced these bulbs with 2 LED bulbs. As I mentioned before, the Have a Coke and Correct Change Only bulbs are actually the same bulbs that you use in night lights. So you can just pick these up from Home Depot for $1.50. When I replaced them, I actually got LED ones. No particular reason other than they were the only ones they had there at the time. So I'm going to put the bulbs in there. Okay, now we're going to remove the bulb bracket here, or the lamp bracket. Remove the lamp holder from the bracket. You just squeeze the top part here and it pops out. Okay, and then there's a second screw here. So that's the correct change lamp bracket with the 2 screws. Now we'll move on to the Have a Coke lamp. So again, the same thing, we'll remove the lamp holder from the lamp bracket and then 2 screws. One screw, and then there's a second screw down the bottom here. I can get my screwdriver out. Okay. There we go. That's the Have a Coke lens and lamp holder. Now both of these are in great condition. They just need a clean. Yeah, they just need a good clean. I don't think they need painting or anything, but yeah, we've got those off. So the next step would be really to continue to remove the wiring harness here. To remove this socket, there's 2 screws. There's a screw on the right side here, and there's a screw on the left side here. I could take this one out, but getting to that one would actually be kind of difficult because the coin mechanism door is in the way. So what I think I might do next is actually unscrew the coin mechanism door. And to do that, you actually unscrew the hinge here. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, these screws are coming up pretty easily. Boom. Okay, we now have the coin mechanism door off. That's progress. Okay, what I'd like to do now is to unscrew the coin mechanism door lock latches. That's these 2 here. Now, as we mentioned previously, the locking mechanism was actually, the bar was missing from this. I believe it was probably broken into at some point, so we will be replacing that. But nevertheless, I'm going to take these off as well now. So again, these just unscrew. So there's a metal plate that's behind this. 2 screws and the lock. And now we'll take the bottom one off. These latches are a little rusty. They're not in a bad shape overall. I don't think I'll replace them. I think these could be cleaned up. It's just surface rust. I will probably prime them and paint these. Yeah, they're not too far gone. They don't look bent. I'll replace the screws because they're covered in paint. When I took the coin mechanism off, I'd left these screws in here. I'll remove these though now so that we don't lose them. Okay, 3 screws. Okay, now we can take the wiring harness off completely by undoing the screw this side on the coin mechanism socket. This screw will undo the metal plate, and then there's a screw this side to then allow the socket to be removed. So remove the plate and the screw there. Oops. With these screws, I will just screw them back in to the socket so that we keep them all together. There we go. So none of these bits will get lost now. So, looking at the wiring harness, it's dirty. It's at the bits that were actually inside the door and the insulation. But it's actually a really good condition. I don't think I need to replace this wiring harness, but I'll certainly give it a really good clean. The lamp holders are in perfect condition. That's great. Okay, that's just about it for the coin mechanism area here. We've just got the main handle here, which we can just probably just, pull through. This needs cleaning up. It's a little bit bent. I think that can be straightened. This will be undone. There's a grub screw here. This is slightly bent again. We can straighten that out, clean it up, and that'll be painted. Next, I want to remove the bottle stack access door. There's a couple of ways of doing this, but I think undoing these top 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a similar 3 screws on the bottom that hold the hinge or attach the hinge to the door, is probably the best way to go. So let's undo them. Same thing down the bottom, 3 screws. One, 2. Now to get the third, I have to be ready to catch the door. Go. There we go. Now we have the bottle stack access door removed. Next, I'd like to try and remove this from the back. This is the stainless steel, I think it's maybe chrome, part that goes around the bottle stack access door. Obviously it acts as a separator because to separate the insulation. and then it also supports the back panel that we already took off. So to remove this, there's a number of screws that are hidden behind the bottle stack access door gasket. So if we close the door a moment. Okay, so here we have the gasket that goes around for the bottle stack access door. As we pull it back, you can then see that there are the screws in here. So let's remove these screws. Two. Three. Hey there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. 13. 15, last screw down the bottom here. Sixteen screws. Now remove the bottle stack access door gasket, which I don't know. Some bleach. It's not torn. It's not perished. It's actually a cold day today, so it's not flexing as much as maybe normal. But maybe we'll be able to save that if it cleans up well. We open the door. Excellent. It's like new. A little bit of cleaning. We're good. This is the bottom part of the surround just I guess it just drops off. So don't lose that. Out of all of this, this is probably the worst looking bit. It's a bit beaten up. I might replace that part. So there's 3 screws. Three screws, 1, 2, 3, and then the same down the bottom. One, two, three. All right. So first off, if you have someone around to help you do the door, that would be my recommendation. The one screw that got stuck there, I actually couldn't get it out, so I did have to take the drill to it. Easy enough, just drilled off the head, and then removed the remaining thread from the door. So I have 5 screws, obviously need to replace one. Given the number of screws that we've unscrewed on the door, one that was stuck, that's not bad, I think. But as I say, if you have someone around to help you when you come to unscrew the door, I strongly recommend it. Simply just to hold the door so that when you get to that last screw, you know, it's not swinging all over the place and potentially damaging it. So, we now have the door off, which it's not too heavy. It's not too light either. It's pretty solid. In need of a good clean, and certainly in need of some paint work. There is one more part actually to remove on the door. This part here, there's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. First screw. Second screw. And the 3rd screw. Okay, so that's off. So I believe we have now fully disassembled the main door. Alright, so that was in the most part successful. We now have the coin mech door off and stripped, with the exception of the bottle opener, which is giving me a hard time, but as I say, we'll come to that. The bottle stack door, I still need to take apart, but I'm not going to strip that quite yet. I'll come to do that when we clean that in the next episode. Main door is also stripped, so that's or taken apart. That's ready to be stripped for paint in the next episode as well. So hopefully this was somewhat useful to you, and thanks very much for watching the video, and like and subscribe, and hopefully be back next time with some paint stripping. Take care.